Exposed to the elements and exposed to some amazing scenery here. We've been welcomed all weekend by the fantastic people in and around Andorra, and we've had some great racing. It should be on your bucket list if you want to come and watch some racing, if you're going to come and ride, or maybe going to come and ski here in the winter. 365 days of the year you can come and have fun. Here today we're going to be having fun watching the latest race in the 2024 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships here in Arinsal in Andorra. The Mountain Bike Championships that started in 1990 in Durango, making the way here, and today's race, well, we have a compressed schedule, and that means that we are packing 3 races today into the time that we would have had one. Now, let's take you through what we've got on today. We have the mountain bike cross country Olympic. Now, that is a scratch race for those of you who understand the concept. Then we have a mass start. We go out and round the course. This is a 4-kilometre course, and after the race duration, we will come to the end. Now, we would normally have about 1 hour 20 to 1 hour 40, that window. Because we have a compressed time schedule today, we have some changes in the race. The course itself is the same. We've currently got overcast weather conditions, but there are thunderstorms predicted later today. So let's bring you the course and let's show you where the riders are going, because the course has remained the same. It's 4 kilometres. There is 160 metres of elevation here today. In our women's elite race here, we are now covering 5 laps of the course, based here in the middle of the Pyrenees. The ski station that we are based at is at the top of the section directly above La Massana. We start, though, by heading even further up the hill. We drop down through the pump track station. We come up and around onto the top, some rocky step slabs, a massive gravel ascent, which is absolutely lung-busting at altitude, before we head into the news section. It's a relatively recent addition out on the far side of the ski and gondola station, and then a fast run back through the pump track, back in, through past the pit, and the tight right-hand turn onto the uphill start-finish straight. Now, because we've got less laps, basically each race today has had 1 lap taken off the distance. Today we are going to be covering 20 kilometres, which means we've got 800 metres of elevation in our women's elite race, and mixed in with that women's elite race is the under 23. Let's have a look at the course and where they are heading out onto. This is going to be with Roger Turner here from Andorra.
In Andorra, Arinsal, a very nice track, but also a very, very hard track. As you can see, we have also very big route in this climb. Here we also have 2 different lines. This one is a little bit shorter, but it's harder than the other one. And now we arrive at the most difficult descent of the track. As you can see, a very fun track, but a very tough one.
Well, great to have our Andorran rider there out on course, and he was breathing hard here today. One rider who's been out and round the course here is my co-commentator. It is the one and only Tracy Mosley, a multidiscipline world champion, a multi-time national champion, an XC rider. Not that she tells everybody that when she first started out as well. It's good to have you in the commentary box here, Tracy.
Thank you.
So, Tracy, you've been out around this course. It's absolutely lung-busting here. We've got a lot of our previous world champions here. So we've got Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Evie Richards here, Kate Courtney, all on the start list. They're all going to be here looking to take this away. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, hot favourite after her Olympic win, but not necessarily going to be the rider who is likely to be in the mix.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be wide open today. I think changing conditions as well for the riders. They've had a little bit of rain coming today, so it's going to be a great one.
I wanted to make a hard race. at the end it didn't really work, but yeah, I have more. I'm even more hungry for Sunday's race, and yeah, for sure I want to try to keep my world title on cross country and to give my best.
So Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, the defending champion, she took away a victory in 2015 here in Val Nord, 2019 in Mont Saint Anne, 2020 in Leogang, 22 in Leger, 23 in Glasgow. She's a defending champion. I mean, she has done everything. She's got the T-shirt. She's Olympic champion and really is looking to go hard today, but she's not necessarily going to have it all her own way. The first of our riders to be called to the front row of the grid are Laura Stiger. Now medals at the XCO elite level, twice junior champion though in Cairns in 2017 and in Lenzerheide in 2018, sixth at the Olympic Games. She's followed to the line by Candice Lill of the Republic of South Africa. The African Conti champion in 2024, 20th at the Olympic Games and second at the last World Cup. Next on to the course, Haley Batten of the United States of America, the silver medalist in the Olympics this year in Paris, the bronze medal in Leger in 2022. And is followed on to the line by Sevilla Blanc, the American Continental Champion in 2021, 12th at the Olympic Games this year. Inside the top 10 though in those world rankings. Luana Lecomte back from that crash at the Olympic Games, the silver medalist from Glasgow in the elite women's XCO World Championships. Very much going to be a case of what can she do here today. But the next rider coming to the line, she has said, she's confirmed this is her last mountain bike race here today. 5 times the world champion, 15, 19, 20, 22 and 23. A bronze medal at Cairns in 2017. She is the rider who will be looking to go from the gun. Now, coming onto the grid from the Netherlands, Puck Pieterse, a rider who has on many occasions been the nemesis of Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. 4th at the Olympic Games, so a bronze medal at Glasgow. One of our young riders. Will she be able to make the most of what is always an electrically quick start here on the line? We will have to see as our last rider awaits to be called to the grid. Quite incredibly, the junior world champion from 2013, the junior world champion from the under-23 world champion from 2018, has never had an elite world medal. And 7th at the Olympic Games. She's super consistent, Tracy.
Oh yeah, she's definitely had really good success here as well in short track racing and cross country, so I definitely think she'll be one to watch today.
So Alexandra Keller, the rider on the last track to be called to the grid. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Puck Pieterse and Alexandra Keller taking the number plates 1, 2 and 3. As you can see, a huge list of riders on our screens, and one of the reasons for that is that we have our under-23 and our elite categories together. This means that we have 110 riders on the grid. There are separate competitions and separate allocation of medals for our elite riders and our under-23 riders. So 2 races in one. We're going to try and bring you as much as we can from both races in terms of letting you know where everybody is. Don't forget, of course, you can follow the live timing on the website, the timing website available at UCI.ch. Go through that hub. The riders lined up on the grid. We have got 5 laps to go. The lights are on red. They will go on the green light. They'll be given the warning when there is 30 seconds to go, then 15. This is the key moment. Puck Pieterse there in the orange of the Netherlands, crouched low on the handlebars. She is ready to roll. So sometime in the next 15 seconds, those lights will turn green. This start absolutely critical into the right-hand turn, up the climb, and then down into the big sweeping berms. Here we go. This start, super important. Nose real slip, pedals there. Lecomte just dropping back a little bit there as she came off from that start. Maybe not having as good a start as she wanted. A little bit of bumping and barging there further back down the field. It is an absolutely massive field. If you're at the back of this, you're going to need a telescope to see the front here. Tracy, big kick off the line here. We've got Puck Pieterse making the move here. It's what we expected.
Yeah, definitely. I think this start's going to be quite crucial because there's a big field, as we've seen today. And they do have a slightly altered start. They don't go straight into the first technical section. They'll get a slightly wider run down the dual slalom to try and open out the field. But definitely, yeah, position is going to be really key today on today's race.
So the next few laps, we're going to be taking a turn onto the upper sections, of course. At the moment, in the early part here, you can see we're going to take a drop down. So this is nice and wide here. It's really good, isn't it, that we've got this fast-flowing section, 2 lines down here. Now, you rode the course a lot earlier on in practice. It was dusty. What is the weather conditions going to have done? It rained a little bit overnight, it's damp, and we could have showers through the morning. Yeah,
I think actually the rain's going to have done the course a world of good this morning. We had a rain early on, it's now stopped, but the dust and the previous races we've had this weekend was incredible. So that dust has definitely been dampened down, which is really good when you're in a big pack like this. I think the conditions will be prime, to be honest, right now.
Excellent. Well, let's see if that translates to the results out on the course. Here we go. We've got Pizzi on the climb. Alexander Keller in the red and white of Switzerland, following in second wheel. A move coming up here from Pauline Ferrand-Prévot on the right-hand side. Evie Richards moving on the left-hand side. Both starting to come up and past the riders. And I think Chiara Tiocchi, one of those riders, just going backwards. Around here, had a great race earlier on in these championships. We're not going to give you any spoilers if you haven't seen any of the other action that has been coming through. We're going to try and avoid those. So please do make sure you try and catch up with the action as it happens here today and on all of the races on the way through. Now, we can see already the riders having to line out. This little descent, it leads us across to a slight climb, and then we go into the most technical descent as said by our test rider out on course, and it's the rock slabs where they go off cambered down from up at the right down to the left-hand side. It's going to be key to get in there early. Peterson, Keller, Lil, Risvet being followed. Then you can see that we've got Blunt, we've got Richards coming through, Prévot in the mix, not too far away, neither is Kate Courtney. Let's watch the start back again though here. A great start, so typical that we see by Puck Peterson there.
Yeah, she's always got a great start on her and a great push from the line. I think it was really good to have a nice clean start. No one made a mistake in the front row, which then often goes back into the pack. So yeah, really good clean start. And this is now a really key section. There's one of the things that I really noticed about this course, there's lots and lots of line selection, which when there's a lot of riders on track, it's really important that the riders have practiced all those different options and hopefully can get some moves.
And that's what we're seeing here, isn't it? Where if you're in traffic, there's no point. You've got to be smart. You've got to make a really good choice. Do you follow the fastest line, which has got a lot of people on it, or are you going to take something that maybe is a little less congested and you can get a higher speed? Get that right. You're going to be right up in the mix. At the moment, though, the gaps are starting to appear. We've got 3 riders just starting to stretch off the front of the race at the moment. And as you can see, a real fight to get up here, just coming through there. That is the one and only Jolanda Neppel, world champion from 2017 in Cairns. At the moment, just fighting in amongst the pack. She's not had the best of seasons this season, so probably not expected to be right up in the running in with the riders at the front of the race as they make their way down that tricky descent. Peter leading, Keller sitting in second position. They now drop down into this little wooded section. You can see already very tricky coming off there. There's a lot of big holes really starting to open up on this course through the course of practice from the start of the week right the way to the final day of competition.
Yeah, there's a super big hole as you come off that bridge as you drop down, and this is a nice technical descent before they get to the next big climb. So again, position's really important here. Once you get stuck behind someone, it's really hard to pass.
So you can see 2 lines here, everybody taking that lower line. A lot of tree roots in there at the moment. It's not probably wet enough for those to be really greasy that we see. It's not yet raining really hard, but definitely a different line's being taken here. Peterson taking that wide line, kind of takes the inside there. Peterson carries pace, and this is absolutely the worst pace on the course if you are not a friend of going uphill, because this climb, this is incredibly steep. It feels like it's 45 degrees.
Yeah, there's so much of this course that I've watched this a lot on at home on the television, and actually to come here and ride it, it always looks so different. The camera just is deceiving when the slope of a lot of this stuff, and that is a long climb. There's one really well-worn route, so if there's a lot of you around, it's hard to get off that. You'll be in the loose stuff on the side. If you want to pass somebody, you have to make that extra effort. And it's hard because it's straight. You can see who's ahead and you can see those gaps. So psychologically, this is a really can be an important part of the race. If you can see that person ahead of you, it gives you that motivation to keep pushing hard.
Just taking a look back down through the field here, just see Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Luana Lecomte, they're side by side. They're not where they want to be, which is right up at the front. Peterson, Keller, Lille, Richards, Blunt, then Riesveds, Berta, Henderson, Lecomte, Maxwell, Ferrand-Prévot. Those are the riders at that front group at the moment. From front to back, though, at our last time split, 19 seconds in total separating. There has been a little bit of compression on the way through, but already this race blowing apart. You can see Ferrand-Prévot moving to the side. They're going off that fast line, looking to try and make some ground. Going round Riesveds, going round Henderson, goes round Maxwell in the black there of New Zealand, drops in front of her onto that smooth line. She's going to make her way to the wheel of Evie Richards of Great Britain. Richards sitting on the wheel at the moment of Blunt. They've got to get into that move quick, and at the moment, Peterson, we know she traditionally is a fast starter. She's somebody who goes away. When it goes uphill and it gets steep, she can climb, she can put in that really big explosive power. And at the moment, for somebody who lives, you know, that is from the Netherlands, which is not a country renowned for its massive mountains, let's face it, she seems really at home here at altitude.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's such an all-round rider. You've seen an amazing ride that she's had this year on the road as well as in cyclocross. She has just a talent to be able to ride a bike, it seems, wherever and whenever. And a really good technical rider as well, so even the climbing, she's super strong. We know that when we get into the descents as well, she definitely is one of the fastest riders we have out there, so she definitely has the package. And yeah, she goes off start, she likes going from the front, she's gone fast, and it'll be interesting to see now where she's forcing the pace for the riders to have to try and stay with her.
So at the moment, Blanc right up in the mix. We're just seeing Hayley Batten coming a little bit further up and through that field. She worked well on that climb and into that descent that sweeps the riders down through the feet, takes them. Riders able to exchange parts from the bike. They can go in, they can't change the frame. And to be honest, if you've got a major issue, you're in trouble. But it's not unknown to see wheel changes and riders still come back from that, because this is going to be a long race. Despite it being 5 rather than 6 laps, it's still going to test all of our riders. The leading 4 just starting to stretch the gap to Batten, who goes through. Then it's Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, followed by Richards with that white jersey from Great Britain. Then you've got Lecomte, then Maxwell coming down. Keller chasing hard at the moment with Lille on a wheel, and Blanc holding station here. And you can see the gap between Blanc and Batten as they come down that drop down. Another climb coming up, though. They come out of these woods, and this is the long run round, this long ascent up here. Really, really going to take its time to get to the top here. And we're going to move from the lower section, the traditional area where we've had the cross country and we've had the cycling racing, over onto the section. It's actually in the middle of the roundabout here at the top, full of trees, full of rocks. It's got a bridge on and off it as well, and that bridge entry is steep. When it comes on the back of this, as we see it move from Lille to try and go past Keller here, you can just see the speed there. Peterson going onto the bridge. It's brutal, this little section here, because you go up and then you take that right-hand turn, you're still climbing. Yeah, you're still climbing all the way, and then as we come now, we'll see the slight left up onto the, we can see that corner there is actually really, really tight. It's littered with roots, it's got a rock slab, and it's not an easy one to carry your speed. So Peterson leading with clear air. We're going to get the time gap coming back. She's gone through the second of our splits here at 2.8 kilometres. She's a 7-second lead on Candice Lille. Behind is Keller. Then it's going to be Blanc coming through. They're pretty much together, being followed by Batten. Then it is Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Evie Richards. Then we're going to see Lecomte. Good to see Luana Lecomte back racing up at the sharp end after that big crash in Paris. Knocked herself out on that landing there, and has really come back well. And that recovery, that's a really quick recovery, and she got away pretty lightly with what was a big stack.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes it's really hard to tell when you crash like that in that situation. She obviously got lucky, nothing was majorly damaged, and just one mistake. She's not going to really lose confidence with that, I don't imagine. These guys have crashes frequently, so she should have bounced back quickly, and extra motivation, I feel, after that to come back to the World Championships. And here we've got a nice, this is the technical section which I thought might get affected by the rain, but actually it looks like it's still pretty dry and dusty. Lots of line choice in here. I know the girls were talking about options they might take if it did get wet, so there's a lot of line choice there. You can exit high if you can, you carry a bit more speed. So it'd be good to see the differences that we can see now.
and different riders have different skill levels. Watch out for riders like Richards on here. Neff, if she can make way. Oh, and down goes Richards. Well, she gets that wrong there. She's going to have to pick the bike back up again and remount. And we were just saying, watch out for the technical race. She was taking a different line there, coming down on the left-hand side early in that upper section there, and that is going to impact on the time. It's put her behind Samara Maxwell. So Maxwell at the moment is going to be in front of Richards. Richards just taking a look down. She's going to be checking to see if the bike's okay as well. She looks pretty much okay. So up and riding. So Evie Richards of Great Britain, a rider who's been having a great weekend so far here at the Mountain Bike World Championships. Now has got to do a reset. Not what she wanted to happen at that stage in the racing, but she's back up and riding, and at the moment looking good, just ahead of Martina Berta of Italy in that blue. They're all chasing Peterson, pedaling very smoothly. This section is right in the middle of the team tents of the mechanic area, the paddock areas, and it's really, really tricky. Easy to get to watch, but definitely not easy to ride.
Yeah, they'll definitely get some good cheers from their support crew and their teams as they come past here. And again, there's a couple of those technical sections, just to see the caught Evie out there. There's just one little mistake and suddenly you're on the floor. So you've got to pay attention everywhere around this course. It really is a fantastic race course because it's testing your skills everywhere. There's nowhere to recover. There's no chance to kind of just relax, to be honest. There's something coming at you all the time, and it's great. Puck's really got a good, strong lead already, so it's going to be interesting to see whether she can stay away from the rest of the group.
So the riders now into that pump track section. This pump track section, we have seen riders actually overshooting on the very first berm. A big berm is coming, carrying too much speed in from the bridge in some of the earlier races. It is a very, very tricky place. Get the technique right here, you're going to be able to make up time. Now, just seeing Keller just starting to drift backwards. She was in second position. We had Lil in third, and all of a sudden, with that technical sections, with those big descents, we're seeing the change here as they come in down this descent. Peterson still leading as she comes back through the trees. She's going to make her way around the left-hand turn very shortly and back past the feed tech zone. She then goes back over the bridge and into the start-finish straight to complete lap number 1 of 5 here. Now, Lil dropping back, losing ground to Peterson at the moment, not dropping back as far as Keller, who has lost places. She was in that battle for second and third place, and at the moment here she comes across our screen, the red and white of Switzerland. She's in the battle around about that top 5-6 positions. Peterson, though, very quickly in through. Lil keeping hold. Candice Lil has had an amazing breakthrough season. We know she's very, very strong. We know she's a great rider, but she really seems this season to have just got everything clicking, everything going together.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen her do well in marathon races before, but that's such a difference to doing an XCO shorter race time. So she really is finding her feet. She looks like she's climbing very, very strong today. And the only person that seems to be able to hold the pace that Puck is setting right now, it seems like there's a hard pace at the front, and it's stringing those girls out a lot.
And with this race distance being shorter, we've got a reduced distance for all of our races, whether it's the men's or the women's racing. Is that going to change the type of rider who can excel? Or because most of these riders will compete at the XCC, the short track, they're all going to be good at getting that power down in a relatively short space of time?
Yeah, I think it's such a big difference between short track and XCO, and I think it does, it's a different kind of training, I guess. And I think these girls are used to pacing a cross-country race, knowing what it is to do there, an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. So a lap less for them probably does mean that intensity is going to be a bit higher from the start. And there's some riders that take the whole race normally to get through that. So it could be quite interesting for a few of them to adapt to that today.
Now you can see we've got the different coloured number board on here, and that is because we have got Olivia Nesti, the leader in the under-23, making her way in and through. She goes through in first place. This is our second place rider, and yet again we are seeing the Canadians riding really strongly here. No surprises to see the move up coming here for Canada, because they've been riding and had a great race in the short track earlier on. You do need to make sure you try and grab or watch that, pick up on some of the action from that on social media. If you're not able to watch the action that's occurred there, because it's a fantastic race. Back here at the front of the race here, the XCO at the Mountain Bike World Championships. The positions they came over the line was Pope Peterson leading from Candy Slil, the gap 9 seconds. Blanc in third place with Prevost. Batten on her heels, and you can see Prevost now starting to stretch the gap out here. So Paulina Ferrand Prevost is starting to move clear of Sevilla. Blanc can move in a big gear there out of the saddle.
Yeah, that's typical style of Pauline for sure. And interesting to say she's chosen a hardtailed bike to race today. So often on a course like this, I would have said a full suspension bike gives you that little bit of extra give, that little bit of extra security on the technical sections. But she's gone all out today, I would say, for the hardtail bike to maximise her power and delivery into the bike to try and get as much advantage as can on the climbs.
So for those people who are maybe new to mountain biking, maybe watching this as a first race after watching the Olympic Games or similar, a hardtail is a mountain bike with suspension at the front only, no suspension in the rear of the bike. And since you said that coming, I've been watching rider after rider come past the commentary box. I'm just looking, you just don't see many hard. I haven't seen one go past the commentary box since you made that comment. Everybody on there. The advantage is it's lighter, it's more rigid, you get more feel, you get more power transmission, but full suspension now is so close, isn't it? And there's a lot of advantages.
Yeah, definitely. I think with such good technology now with full suspension bikes with lockouts, so they can actually lock that suspension out, so it can make the ride almost as hard as the hardtail. It's surprising that there's still people choosing hardtails, but there's Pauline. She's not wanting to lose any advantage today.
Well, I don't think we can really argue with somebody who has won as much as Pauline Ferrand-Prevost has in her career. She said this is her last race. She'll want to go out in style. But Peterson went out in style from the gun, went off from that green light, but has been closed down here by the green and gold here with the black of South Africa. Pauline Ferrand-Prevost taking that slightly different line there. That is really all about making sure if there was a stall there by Peterson, she could go round on a different line and maybe make some ground.
Yeah, she definitely chose that right-hand line is a little bit shorter, but it is steeper, so it's certainly a harder option, but it does potentially get you there a little bit quicker. So she's obviously still trying to get on that wheel and seeing her move through. See, Keller now has also chosen that right line, hoping to make a pass on someone else taking the opposite one.
So up onto the climb, a little bit of a drift back here for Sevilla Blanc, moving away backwards. So at our last time check, it was Peterson, Lil, Blanc, Ferrand-Prevost. We know that has changed. It's moved to Ferrand-Prevost above Blanc. We've got Batten, Keller, Lecomte, Maxwell, Richards, Berta, Henderson at the last time check, but that is all changing out on course. Peterson is still leading, but Lil has closed down on the climb. Peterson, though, using her skills here. But Peterson, when she started out, I know the team manager, one of the UK teams in the Youth Mountain Bike Games, was out in Graz for the Youth Games, the Youth Mountain Bike Championships, saying that Put Peterson was out there riding, showing she had those mountain bike skills when she's young. Dialing those skills in, really, really key. Everybody at this level, I mean, they are world class at that skill, but there are still differences in the riders and their ability level.
Yeah, definitely. There's certainly some riders that will favour the technical descents, and for them they can just recover that bit more if they're able to ride a technical descent without the fear and to be able to have fun, to relax on the bike. They'll be able to reduce the heart rate that little bit more than somebody else who's concerned about that part of the course, and that's always going to be an advantage if you can relax on that technical to be able to then recover a bit more for this somewhere like this where you come straight into this next climb.
And we're here at altitude here with 1,500 meters up. That's 25% less oxygen. That's less fuel going in. There's less oxygen to burn in the muscles. You can see the compression here because it's so steep. Don't be fooled by the fact that it doesn't look like it's 45 degrees. Believe me, it is. If you walk up here, you're going to be out of breath. If you run up here, you're not going to make it to the top running unless you're a world-class runner. And you can see the whole field here as the speed slows, the compression comes in, the gaps physically reduce, even though that time gap will remain very similar. Now issues on that descent here. You just see that tangle in there. That is not good news as they go in through. So Gibson just tangling on the way through. Well, Gwendolyn Gibson, a rider who could well have been considered one rider that could have really excelled here. However, a long way back down in the pack at the moment. That tangle will drop her down. The last check, she was 14th position inside the top 15, but you can't afford to get tangled too much now. Behind our leaders, a chase on. You can see the battle here. This is Hayley Battered on the front. It is going to be Martina Berta. Berta looking good at the moment, sitting immediately behind in 5th position. But Peter C leading. Lil in 2nd place. A couple of seconds were separating them at a time share, but Lil has closed down as they come to the top of the climb. And Pauline Ferrand-Bravo has made contact. The gap back then to Batten and Berta rolling around that 20-second marker. We've then got Maxwell in this group, led by Keller, as they continue to push. Meanwhile, in the U23 competition, you can see that they really are starting having to push. So Isabella Holmgren at the moment sitting on the wheel of Olivia Anesti. Anesti leading for France. Holmgren in 2nd position right on the wheels. This is going to be a real fight to the line. And right up in the mix here, you can see that they are mixing it up with the elites. And if I'm not much mistaken, they've gone past Jenny Rizvets there, the former Olympic champion, the rider who we've seen come to 4 this year and be back on to an Olympic podium. Look at her. She, you know, the youngsters are coming, and they're coming quick.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a unique experience for them to get to race alongside the elite riders. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly where they do end up, because there is so much talent, and often they're racing the same distance now as the elite. So it really is going to be a fair race to see where they finish up.
So if you didn't catch the news earlier on today, because we are expecting storms, a real big thunderstorm due to hit the mountain here in Andorra at Arinsal at about 2 to 3 o'clock, right when we had a lot of the racing. We have had a compressed program put together. All of the races today losing a lap from their race pretty much as they come in and round in. And we've also then had the women elite and the women under 23 pushed together into the same race. 110 riders on that start line. -1 Isla Short from Great Britain not taking to the start lines, making it 109. And that means that the riders in the under 23 with that slightly different colour plate, the slightly darker plate, are mixing it up with the elite riders. So the under 23s and the elites on course at the same time. 5 laps in total. We're on lap 2 of 5, 20 minutes of racing. We have a breakaway group at the front with Pidesy, Candy Slill and Bonnie Ferrand-Bravo clear the chasing group behind. Well, you've just seen it come across the street. It's a big group. They are wanting to come back to our leaders. Pidesy, though, continuing to try and put the pressure on Candy Slill. It opens, it's closing. Lil comes back. Pidesy attacks again. And look at Ferrand-Bravo at the moment. She's been on the wheels and she's not there again at the moment. She's not looking her dominant self. She would have loved to ride away. That is her favoured style. It's not happening. What is happening to Pauline Ferrand-Bravo? We have seen the rest of these riders. Is it just the come down off those Olympic Games and maybe peaking just a bit early?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, she definitely put so much emphasis on the Olympic Games. It was obvious this year she missed, you know, races to really prepare for that. And I think sometimes that when you have that massive focus, there is a bit of a come down. But I definitely think this race is also a big goal for her. It's her last ever mountain bike race. She's going to want to go out on a high. So I think she put in a big effort. We saw she made connection on that last lap. She then got a little bit dropped on the descent, had to really come back on that long climb on the piste. And I just wonder if that yo-yoing, constantly having to get back to that group, is going to start to take its effect, or whether there was a mistake that we've not seen. But it'd be interesting to see where she goes from here.
And there's still plenty of time to recover. We're on lap 2 of 5, so when they get to the line next time round, that will be lap 2. We're going to have to see what happens out on course, and you can recover if you have a tough time out on the course early. Now this wider outside line being taken by Pupisi, a slightly tighter line being taken there by Candy Slill. We saw that really tight inside line being taken by Evie Richards where she had that tumble. These lines very different in terms of technique, in terms of skill, but you've got to get down in one piece. Where is Ferrand-Bravo going to go? She follows a fairly similar line there to Lil coming in and through. Berta does exactly the same, and she almost looks to be closing down a little bit on Ferrand-Bravo in this last section.
Yeah, it's interesting. Those lines definitely have, the one has a much more of a fast exit, and I think that's what Puck definitely took there to try and carry the speed, and maybe took a little bit of a gap. So the riders definitely would have chosen their favourite, but they've also got to be able to adapt and use the one that is going to work during the race.
And if you're a rider that can't do a line, are there lines on this course that riders just can't do and some riders can?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a section in there where I know the girls were looking at up and over rock and they said, oh, I think I can do it. But then they actually got there and did it and said, oh, I don't really fancy that. And honestly, sometimes the risk that you take to maybe gain a millisecond in cross country, it almost isn't worth it. You have a whole race to race. It's not like downhill where those split seconds really do make a difference. So sometimes you're better off playing safe, being consistent, knowing you can ride that line each lap. And also cross country, they're going full gas. So that's the hard thing, to be able to have the technical skills when you're really, really tired as well.
Well, at the moment, one rider that's definitely not tired here is Martina Berta. Berta absolutely flying onto the wheel of Pauline Ferrand-Prévot here. Great to see that the Italian now has made contact with the French woman. That is going to give us so much confidence coming in. We've got two pairs at the front of this elite race here in Pal Arinsal. But Peter C and Candice Lil from the Netherlands and the Republic of South Africa, respectively, coming into the pump track behind Berta and Ferrand-Prévot trying to get back, but at the moment Ferrand-Prévot has dropped back a little bit and come in to the grasp of Martina Berta.
Yeah, it's been a great lap there to see such a change. I wasn't expecting to see Pauline drop back after such a strong, getting back onto the front of the race. So really interesting. Puck's a little bit of distance here now. It looks like Martina now has actually overtaken Pauline and is now pulling ahead of her on the pump track. So this is really interesting to see. She's definitely on a flyer going forward, keeping that momentum, and she's going to want to now try and look ahead and see who's ahead and see if she can bridge that next gap.
And Martina Berta, a rider who knows this course well. She took the World Championship win in 2015 here as a junior. So going back to a course, it's not exactly the same. This section in the woods we've just come through is very different to the course in 2015. But the big gravel climbs definitely part of that same course in 2015. The junior winner here, currently just in front of that last championship, it was Berta from Richards from Collar, in the top three medal back in 2015, and at the moment, well, Martina Berta on a storming ride, moving away. Can she make contact with these two leaders who come onto the straight? This is going to be lap complete, reaching the pocket. It's going to be time for a gel for both riders, so refueling here, getting on board the energy they're going to need to continue onwards. It's one of the few places on this track where you can actually grab a gel, get that gel in, and make sure that you're not losing too much time because you're not in full control. Behind Berta, look at this. She's not just gone up to, she's gone past and dropped Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. We're just taking a look back. Here comes Ferrand-Prévot. She's in fourth place. She's a rider who knows how to come back. She knows the skills are there, but has this meant that the drop here is going to be too much, or will she want to keep on going? And she's not looking happy as she comes up this straight. That's definitely not the happy Pauline Ferrand-Prévot race winning face that comes in towards the end of the race. She's going to try and regroup now behind. You can see Hayley Batten, another rider on having a good year, just coming through ahead. The chase behind Anna Terpstra, making her way up through the race field. She's made contact with the chase group and gone to the front, picking up the pace here, leading that train of riders behind. Will we see a regroup here? Because the riders behind haven't gone maybe quite as hard as early, maybe with the exception there of Alexandra Keller, who went to the front and has gone back and been caught by that group.
Yeah, I definitely think there's an advantage to be in that group. They can work together and they can all take it in turns to really drive the pace and try and get those gaps back.
I've just seen a former world champion Kate Courtney going through in 14th position as she came into the line. Meanwhile, the under 23 riders are on the way up onto the course, and you can see that Isabella Holmgren has come through the line there. The clock going at 28:42. She's got a 30-second gap on Olivia Anesti. So are we going to see Isabella Holmgren solo clear here, work her way through the elite field and make her way up into the gold medal, have that secured? Well, she's still got plenty of racing to do out on course. At the moment, it's certainly looking good for the Canadian.
There you can see Kate Courtney in our shot, just on that long climb out of the start finish. It's one of those few places that riders can actually take a drink and actually take some fuel. The rest of the time there's so much going on. And here I think we can see this is Madigan Monroe and Valentina Corvi, the next third, fourth place in the under-23 women's race. So having a great battle already for those under-23s and moved up really, really high up into the elite women's field. Impressive riding.
Yeah, really, really good to see these riders at the moment as they make their way up through here. And at the moment, you can see this big race field spread all over the mountain as more of our under-23 and our elite riders come through. And I think Yolanda Neff just making her way through there. The former elite world champion makes her way underneath the line. You can see the gap that has opened up because already Pupisi and Candice Lill right up on this higher section. Of course, this, as you climb up here towards the top of this rocky descent, you're basically at the highest point on the course.
Yeah, you are, and I think Puck's now retaking the lead. I'm sure she was going to want to get ahead of Candice on any of the technical downhill sections, because just to play to her strengths and try and make a little bit of a gap, and then it makes Candice has to then, you know, put that effort into to get back on her wheel. Martina Berta's now pulled away from Pauline, really good gap now, and she's going to have her sights set on the race leaders ahead of her. See if she can really keep that pace up through this technical section. And here we go, Puck looks like she's just about taking a bit of a gap there, taking the same line through this section, but she's pulling ahead of Candice here, so this will be her chance to see if she can pull a little bit of time as she comes into this technical section.
So the current standing in the elite race, Pidisi from Lille, from Berta, then Batten, Prevost, Touch Keller Ridge, Stiga and Lecomte. There, your top 10, the time gaps, well, 50 seconds, so 51 seconds separating the top 10 at the moment. The two leaders, they've been out the front now. We've seen Puck Peterson take the lead from the start. She's getting to choose her line choice. She's not got to worry too much about Lil at the moment. She's there or thereabouts. There's still plenty of time left. The gap back then, we've seen Berta starting to close down. Terpstra doing what we've seen her do before here, because she is making ground mid-race, as is Lecomte here, but that's something that we see more and more from Terpstra particularly.
Yeah, I think it's everyone has their ways of racing, and some people get stronger as the race goes on. And I think now with that group, they can start to see the riders ahead. They're going to really start to feel like they're moving forward. We saw then Pauline obviously drop back, so it's going to be an interesting dynamic in that group. Now we've got to come into this long descent, one of the most technical descents, and the longest. There's lots of line choices we come down here.
And when you're picking those line choices, as you said, everybody picking their own line, you see the gap back here. We're just watching our two leaders disappear off, waiting for the next rider who's taking a while to come through. We're going to have to see where Berta is. I think she's just losing ground. Last time and check that we had on Martina Berta coming in and through the split before, well, it was 29 seconds to the rider in third place. She's just gone through. It has gone back. It's now 37 seconds, so 29 to 37 seconds, 43 seconds back to Terpstra, then followed by Lecomte. And at the moment, we are seeing Terpstra on a charge here. She's got a little bit of work to do. It's only 6 seconds between her and the rider in front.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to see that change happen quite a bit as the race goes on. Good to see Evie Richards recovering from that crash back up into 5th or 6th as we come to there. And Luana Lecomte now is definitely on a charge, I think. She can see the riders ahead of her, and she's going to want to try and gain some time on this long climb as they come back out onto the piste for this grueling climb.
And that return to racing, that little bit maybe of a later charge from Lecomte, is that just getting her racing eye back in, just getting the feel back in, just getting back into racing at this level?
Yeah, I mean, she'll have lost a little bit of training time, I'm sure, just recovery after the Olympics, and the confidence that comes with that. And I think, yeah, sometimes if you go out too hard, I think the Olympics, the pace that Pauline set was so fast. I think a lot of the girls really suffered from that. So maybe just pacing the race a little bit better here, she's going to be able to come back as the race goes on.
So Puck Peterson leading with Candice Lill immediately behind, but you could see the chase coming from Berta, then Terpstra leading Lecomte. A little bit of a gap back to Richards, to Batten, to Keller Stiga, Ferran Prevost dropping back in that top 10. Henderson of Australia starting to move up through the race field and starting to challenge Maxwell, Blanc, Graf, Courtney Gimpson, Fry, Loiv, being followed by Risvitz and Mittenwallen inside the top 20 at our last time check in the elite race. You can see Berta coming up to the top here, and Terpstra really is starting to reel her in, but that gap will extend a little bit. They go over the top. You're going to find, of course, as they go into this descent, that Berta will get the speed first, but at the moment, after having charged and pushed to get on the wheel, now starting to lose a little bit of ground, to go backwards again into the grasp of Terpstra and Lecomte. In our under-23 competition, it's still Holmgren at the moment with a 37-second gap to Ernesti in second. Corby sitting in third place, 1 minute 20 back with company of Madigan. We've got Johnson immediately behind as well, but you can see on your screens the race leader in the under-23s. That is Isabella Holmgren. The last time check, 37 seconds clear. So Holmgren, Ernesti, Corby, the 1, 2, 3. Then Munro, Johnson, McLean, Howell moving her way up through that field. Ava Holmgren, followed by Boma, followed by Kalori, is currently the riders at the front of that under-23 race, but the under-23 leader going past the defending world champion.
Yeah, that's going to probably feel pretty good for Isabella there, I'm sure. And I can see that's interesting. Often with mountain bike racing, there's such a psychological element. And for Pauline today, now going backwards in the race, it's going to be really, really hard for her to recover from that. Where constantly riders passing you, when the first under-23 rider comes past you, you know that you're not having a great day. So it's going to be really interesting whether she just hangs out in here, whether she's going to pull out of this race, because she can see she's not going forwards.
And if it is her last race, I mean, your last race, when you did your last world level race, was it something that was a good feeling, and was it just relief? What did it feel like? Yeah,
it's hard because you always want to go out there on a high, but it's not always possible. And I know my last World Championships for downhill, I wasn't probably as competitive as I'd like to have been, and it was a bit of a disappointment in many ways. And I think for sure Pauline, this is not what she dreamt about, is going out with her last World Champs, not having the race that we all know she's capable of. So I'm sure she'll have some very tough emotions going on as she's riding around.
Well, at the moment, the rider leading is Peterson with Lille. Lille 2 seconds back, but now Berta has been caught by Terpstra and by Lecomte as they come down here. So 1 and 2 are clear of a chasing group of 3. Behind them, Richards, Batten, Kelestiga, Ferran, Bravo, Henderson chasing. And the gap now opening up once again to Candice Lille here. So we're seeing the gap open, but Peterson, after that initial charge now, mid-race, starting to stretch out. Let's see what the gap is now. It was a couple of seconds. That is a lot more now, as Peterson really has opened the throttle, put the foot down to the floorboards, and really starting to pressurise here. 9 seconds, 7 seconds between those two splits. That's a big move there by Peterson. Yeah, it looked like she really pushed hard on that long climb, and now she's just extending that lead. And I think she'll push now at this point in the race. I think if she can, she's going to try and want to extend that lead. So onto the bridge, you can see how steep that bridge is. You've looked up and you've got Terpstra. Now, there is the risk, isn't there, if you've chased hard to close somebody down, that you've gone so deep. When you get onto the back wheel, you then almost immediately go off the back there. Terpstra just drop into the back of that group. Will Lecomte have taken the pace of Terpstra, but maybe not worked as hard? Yeah, possibly. It's always nice to sit on someone's wheel and let them kind of take you, drag you up there. And I think now she's taken that chance to get to the front. And I think sometimes psychologically as well, it's nice if you catch someone to actually go past them, and you can almost mentally crack that person by not only catching them, but also then going ahead, and then they've got to try and stay on your wheel. So there's sometimes a lot of kind of mental tactics that go into to bike racing, and the riders know each other so well, they'll know what their strengths and weaknesses are and definitely use those to their advantage. So the riders over half a race distance here at the World Championships. It's the XCO, the Mountain Bike Olympic. It's the elite and under-23 race, both races combined together. At the moment, you've got your leader on screen, Pope Peterson, here in the women's elite race. Second place, Candice Lille chasing hard, but you can see Peterson through here, just finding that smooth line, really looking good through there, just dialing it in and charging at the section. That body language was, this is what I want, this is where I'm going for this line, and there was no hesitation. Yeah, that was great for that little rock garden. It's a really awkward little section, and you can see she's such a technically sound rider, and to carry the speed here is a nice replay now as she comes through the rock section that was a little bit earlier, taking that inside line. It's tricky. She's now trying to get this high line now to try and exit, which is then going to carry her speed through all that section. taking that speed through, and that is the line. Looks like Evie Richards taking that one big down the left-hand side. Massive move being made there. That was a big old dive coming from the side there. That change in position, is that just Richards' crash playing on a mind there and taking that different line?
Yeah, I think so. I know they're speaking to the girls, they definitely know they've got all those options under their belt, and I think sometimes if you've had a mistake on one, you might try something else. If there's not a huge advantage, disadvantage there, and you can see Evie almost had more speed then to get back onto Batten's wheel, but she kind of let her go. So I think if it's last lap potentially, she might have tried to then overtake with that extra. So there's going to be advantages to both of those lines, and maybe we'll see her try something different next lap to find the best one for that final lap.
At the moment, Puck Peterson riding around the pump track alone. Now comes Candice Little into the track. She's just coming down to the end of the first straight on that pump track as Puck Peterson exits the chasing group. They're still in the woods, and again you can see another battle going down between Terstra along with the leading rider in this group, that is Loana Lecomte. So Lecomte at the moment, then Terstra, then Berta. 3 riders, 1 medal at stake. If it was to stay like this in towards the finishing straight, that would be a very interesting sprint indeed. But this is lap 3 of 5. Puck Peterson clear, and the gap has continued to open up. Our next time check will come at the line. The last time check we had was 9 seconds. It gone from 2 to 9. It looks like it's going to have opened up a little bit more on the way through. These 3, though, there's nothing between them as Puck Peterson takes on board more fluids.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the body language from Puck here looks like she's in control. She's riding her race. She's got a really good rhythm going, and now she's extending that lead. I think this looks really, really confident.
Actually stopping in the same hotel as the Netherlands team, and seen Puck at breakfast most mornings, and the morning before the short track, the morning after the short track, this morning going in, she's always looked pretty calm, pretty chilled out, not worrying about it. She just seems to be able to press that reset button so quickly and get ready for the next race, whatever's happened in the races before. And look at this, she's continuing to push. The gap really has opened. It went from 2, it went to 9. Here comes Candice Little up to the line. Another gel going down here for Lil as she comes in over the line. It's now at 13 seconds, another 4 seconds. It's only a second at a time. It's 2, 3, 4 seconds, but it's going to make a difference.
Oh, definitely, and I think she knows now she's at this part in the race where she needs to push on, and she needs to try and maintain that gap. You don't want someone to come and connect and get back to you. So I think she's going to be going all out, knowing what how much pace that she's got there left and how hard she can go. But yeah, for Candice, she's always going to have Puck in her sights now, so it's going to be for her just to try and stay on that wheel, keep following that orange jersey and stay as close as she can.
And Puck Peterson really disappointed at Glasgow in a lot of ways, because she wanted to be right up there in that race between Loana Lecomte and Pauline Ferrand-Prévot for the gold and silver medal. She ended up with the bronze medal. She's now in the driving seat. She's got a gap on all the previous medalists in the previous year. So Loana Lecomte coming through, the rider who took silver last time. She's currently in 3rd place, but she's got company coming through. Lil, this will be her best result by a margin, but right behind them, this is an incredible ride, because at the moment Isabella Holmgren is going to come through to complete her lap here. She's closing in on the back wheels here of Richards, of Batten, of Steger, and this is a phenomenal ride by the under-23 leader. The chasing rider behind Olivia Anesti is the rider looking to close the gap down. Sammy Maxwell sandwiched in between. She's just coming over the line, and Anesti now coming out through the pit. This is Anesti, second in the under-23 competition. She had a substantial gap over the 3rd place rider. That was Emily Johnson of Canada at the last time check. Then it was Corby McLean-Howell, followed by Holmgren, by Spacena, Van Thiel and Kalori. This is going to be a battle to the end for the riders. Anesti and Holmgren working their way through, but Isabel Holmgren absolutely on fire. I mean, they are putting in a ride. It puts into context just how good the under-23s are.
Yeah, that's incredible. Right now, 49-second gap, I think it is. And yeah, for the chance for Isabel to be riding up with some of her teammates and some of her, you know, her idols of the sport, she'll be just enjoying this, I'm sure. And it's going to give her extra motivation to see how many more of those elites she can pick off, as well as she goes ahead to try and take that under-23 title herself.
And they'll grow up with people like Jenny Riesveds as absolute heroes. The former Olympic champion, he's made a way in and through and around them. Now we're just going to take a look down here next. The rider coming up is Emily Johnson here with that dark plate. The number 6 right on her heels is Valentina Corby, the rider with the number 12 plate, those darker coloured plates there with a white number on board, the indication of the under-23 competition that's being raced out at the same time as our elite competition. The riders ranked in the overall world ranking grid in both the under-23 and in the elite. So the elite was the ranking that was taken, 110 riders on that start grid. Isabel Holmgren absolutely flying her way up here, and she had a good ranking, but she started 43rd on the grid and has moved her way up, and at the moment Holmgren right up inside that top 10 overall. Yeah, that's a really impressive head start to the race, and yeah, great bright future for that girl, that's for sure. Now out on lap 4, at the high point of the course, we have got our race leader. That is the rider from the Netherlands leading the race out, Pidisi, with a gap at the last time check as they came through. The gap back to Candice Lil was sitting at 13 seconds at the end of lap 3, behind Lecomte, Substra and Berta coming up on to this climb here now on your screens. A little bit of a gap opening to Berta. She was the rider who had been early on in the chase, chasing Lil, chasing the race leader, Pidisi. She's now starting maybe to pay the price here. Lecomte doing what she does best, climbing. And Lana Lecomte, a rider, some of the really tough World Cup courses, she has been absolutely loving, because she loves a proper mountain bike race. Those are her words, not mine. Yeah, definitely. A phenomenal climber, but also technically really, really strong as well. She definitely has the whole package. And yeah, great to see her moving forward. And she's definitely got that momentum now. Before long, if they can get sight to that rider ahead, it'll be great to see if they can pull some more time back. So down into the descent, Pidisi coming down, carrying plenty of pace, plenty of speed. Behind comes Lil. Lil comes through now at 22 seconds. The gap back behind Lil's going to be very interesting indeed, because of that charge coming from from Terpstra. They are fighting each other, but they are going to be accelerating up. They were chasing hard. Now that gap was pretty substantial last time around between Lil and Lecomte. It was sitting at about 50 seconds. However, will it still be 50 seconds when they come through between Lil and Lecomte? Lil well onto this descent. We're still on our penultimate lap. We've still got plenty of race distance. Pacing this race is going to be critical. Yeah, definitely, and I think you can see now Puck's got a nice lead there. You can see if someone's at the top of that climb, just as you come out, psychologically that's hard to think. You've got to try and gain that time back. But here we've got the chasers now. So the chasers coming through in 1:06, and at the moment they're starting to close down onto Candice Lil. We'll see what happens on the climb. We've seen big pushes up this climb. We've seen the junction being made by riders. We've seen the riders going backwards on the way through there. At the moment, riders sitting inside the top 10 looking good. You've got Stiga sitting in 7th place at the moment. Blunk in 8th, Battered in 9th. Maxwell in 10th, just outside. I think it's going to be Pauline Ferran-Prevost sitting in 11th place at our last time split. Henderson in 12th, Courtney in 13th. Graf on a good ride here in 15th place, but updating all the time as they make their way out and around the course. As we see Evie Richards drop down. The chase is on for Richards here. She's got a gap to the riders behind. Are we going to see a comeback move from Richards? We've seen her accelerating up. Looks like some of the Melbourne crew at the side there with the Union Jack on their side. On their back, they're giving a big shout on to Evie here. And look at the face of Puck Pidisi here, working her way up this climb.
Yeah, she looks super strong, I have to say, but she knows this. Every time you got this climb, it's a long, long effort, but it's maximising that effort to make sure that you can get over the top, but not put in too much effort that then going to recover, not going to be able to recover on that next section. So she's got a big gap, and it's going to be interesting to see how she can hold that. And
sitting there in her lowest gear, almost a dinner plate size sprocket at the back there, on a single chainring, which is normal nowadays, on the way through, just using the full rage at the back there. That indicating it is the toughest climb. She's in a bottom gear.
Yeah, definitely. And you're a long way into a hard race when you're going full gas. It's just, yeah, you've got to just get yourself to the top of that one, try and recover, ready for the next climb.
Now the gaps in between Lil and Terpstra. Well, you can see it has come down a little bit here, 26 seconds back to Lil from our leader. Terpstra making a move through, starting to come into this big descent with Lecomte on a wheel, and Berta now starting to lose ground. Issues though for Lil here, so Candice Lil having to drop in. Is that the reason why she was drifting backwards here? She's dived into the pit. There was no visible sign from Lil of the issue there before she came in to that pit, but the mechanics clearly needed, and she's back out on course. Now, that would explain that drop back in and that loss of pace as Puck continues to push.
Yeah, interesting whether that was a wheel change. We didn't get to see. She obviously set off from the pits, but now it's going to be interesting because that gap has gone down, and Terpstra and Lecomte are now going to be able to see Candice ahead of her. So it's going to be really interesting to see how hard they can push and see if they can get back to that silver medal position.
So the gaps between them have come right down. The battle for silver and bronze going to be tough. Now, here we go. Coming in, takes that left-hand turn. Just taking a look at the back. Oh, it comes down going into the pit. That is really unusual to see that there is a little bit of a ditch there. Just gets it wrong. Has to try and straighten the back. And the crew are there watching to see if she's going to get up and running there. I don't think they could believe what had happened in front of them. Just when you're on the limit, making a mistake like that is such an innocuous place. Almost a lack of concentration, thinking about taking the bottle and not getting around the corner.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It almost looked like there was a small rock on the ground there that just caught her front wheel. Something definitely flicked up from when she crashed, and a slight divot in the ground. Yeah, really, really bizarre. Not something that you were going to expect to happen as you come into the pit lane.
Well, it's all benefiting our race leader. Puck Peterson heads to time split number 2 on lap number 4 of 5. The clock starts in the top left-hand side of your screen. The riders behind. Well, let's see if Candice Lil has recovered. There's nobody else in camera shot, and our camera just tracking back as we're looking for Lil. We're going to look to see who we can see back up behind. At the moment, though, it looks to me like Lecomte may well have made a move, just trying to take a peer at the screen. If we get any closer to our screens here, trying to see. I think we're going to be touching it now. Here comes Lil. Has definitely paid the price of that. We saw that Terpstra was coming. She's almost onto her heels here as they come around that right-hand turn onto the climb, and that has done damage. Definitely 44 seconds has elapsed already since we saw Puck Peterson go through that split. Behind it, Terpstra is coming, and Terpstra is working hard. How close will she get? Where is Lecomte? We're waiting to see where she is on this. Lil goes through 55 seconds down, 3 seconds behind to Terpstra, and Lecomte can't go with her here, so Terpstra has made the catch. And are we going to see a battle between Lecomte and Berta, both riders being distanced?
Yeah, that was a great. It's going to make this race so exciting now. The battle for silver and bronze is definitely on, and Peters now has really got the gap. She knows that she's going to have a big gap. She's going to get that information from her team crew on the side, and she now just needs to ride her own race. You know, ride within herself, not take massive risks. Really try and just be smooth, be efficient, and do the work that she knows she's put in. She's got, you know, a big gap now. It's just needing to be safe.
And she'll be getting that communication. She'll be getting those time gaps from the teams at the side. She'll be looking back. She'll be getting a feel from where she is by the noise of the crowd as well.
Definitely. The only thing you can't do is, you know, you can't ease up and go too easy, because you never know. Mistakes can happen so quickly, so you've always got to be there, ready for it.
Now Terpstra overtaking on the way into the climb here, using those descending skills to open up a gap, looking far more confident here as she comes down in front of Lil now with work to do, as Terpstra, who made that move on the ascent, goes over the top, comes into the descent, takes more time out of Lil. They come sweeping down this on the central section in amongst the paddock at the back here. And this is fast. This is the battle for the silver and bronze medal. If positions would stay the same, but anything can happen. We've seen that with Candice Lill. She's picked herself back up again. She's got to now compose herself and continue to stay with Terpstra, which is something that we didn't see from Lecomte. Has not been able to go with Terpstra charging through a field. Terpstra, this would be a great result for her.
She is. Terpstra's had a good record here in Andorra. Wins in 2019 and 2022, so she obviously loves this course and is really you know, coming to her own now, and she's got putting down the effort. She's going to really try and take as much time as she can from Lill on this next lap.
And anybody who goes well here goes well at altitude. You just can't do well at this course if you're not good at altitude. And she's clearly showed that she is enjoying this. She didn't panic at the start. She wasn't right in touch. She's moved her way right up and through this race field. They set off from the race start. She set off on the lap, the first split on lap 1. She was 15th position. So she steadily worked her way up 15th, 12th, through up inside the top 10, continued to climb her way up until now. She's in second position, chasing Puck Piddersy. The gap, though, at the moment, sitting out just shy of a minute, 55 seconds to Terpstra, and Lill definitely not out of this.
No, she's definitely going to take a little bit of time to recompose herself after that crash. That's a crash that you were never expecting to suddenly be on the floor, so it might take her a few minutes, but she's definitely looking like she's got that composure back and is on the back of the wheel of Anne Terpstra.
So Puck Piddersy makes her way round the turns through that feed tech, so she's going to go up and over the bridge and onto the finishing straight as the chasers come out and away from the bump track. This is the summit of the bridge. Down she goes. The right-hand turn. Lap 4 is going to be complete. It's a swig of the bottle. There is one more lap to go here at the 2024 Women's Elite Mountain Bike World Championships. The leader in the elite competition. It is Puck Piddersy of the Netherlands. Another gel, another bottle. One more lap left. Can she maintain this lead? She's got to stay composed. She's got to keep it safe, and she's got to keep it together. She will have dreamed of this moment. She will be enjoying the podium if she can make it in top sport. She's got a bronze medal last year in the elite competition. She was 4th at the Olympic Games. She was in that battle for so long, then faded out of contention. Can she stay clear? Will she be joined by a countrywoman here, Terpstra, with a little bit of a gap from Lill? So at the moment, the chase is on behind. We've got 2 riders from the Netherlands, 1 rider from the Republic of South Africa at the moment in 1, 2, and 3. Behind, Luana Lecomte of France has got company. Martina Berta of Italy has got her back, and the 2 riders are together in 4th and 5th places. Here comes the time split. It was 55 seconds. It's now going to come on our screens at 1 minute and 4, but Piddersy is extending that lead.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, she's 1 lap to go. This race for the silver medal is going to be, I think, fascinating to watch now. Candice Lill taking over. Her confidence is going to be back now. She's going to be trying to charge.
So up and through the line go our riders in 4th and 5th positions at the moment. Lecomte of France, Berta of Italy go through. The time gap from them to the battle to a potential medal is 20 seconds. And as we've seen, one mistake from our top 3 could put them back in reaching distance. Behind is currently 6th place for Evie Richards of Great Britain. But immediately behind her, you can see that we have Isabella Holmgren, the leader in the under-23 competition. The last time check was 48 seconds. It's been hovering around that 1 minute to about 50-second mark or so, coming down a little bit to the rider in 2nd place in the under-23 competition, Olivia Anesti. But Anesti still to reach the line as Holmgren at the moment. Well, the pace she's going, she could be challenging for a top 5 in this race overall.
Yeah, that's an incredible ride. And yeah, it's just with 1 lap to go. I think she's going to see how many more of those elite riders that she can pick off on her way, but a fantastic ride. Here we go, 2nd place in the under-23 coming through.
Well, look at this. Olivia Anesti has got a great wheel to follow here in the multi-world champion, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. They are country women on the way up. Olivia Anesti, a super talented rider, on-road and off, and all sorts of disciplines. And at the moment, looking like she's really pushing at the moment to keep the time gap down at the line. It come down again. Anesti bringing it down to 42 seconds this time. So it has been coming down steadily. A little bit further out on the track there, just a little move by the rider from South Africa. Interesting to see that Lil and Terpstra having a real ding-dong battle here.
Yeah, it looks like they're already challenging for that second place. We're still half a lap or more to go, so this is going to be a fantastic battle all the way to the line.
So the leader at the moment heading up for the high point on the course. We're really working still at keeping that gap there. The last time a check as they'd come through, well, the gap was 1 minute and 4, 1 minute and 5. A little bit further back in the elite field. Pitsko in 1, Terpstra in 2, Lil in 3, Lecomte in 4, Berta in 5, Richards in 6, Stiger of Austria in 7, Blanc of the United States of America in 8, ahead of Ferran Prevot in 9th in the elite competition. This is Haley Batten in 10th for the United States. Sammy Maxwell sitting in 11th place. Then it was Rebecca Henderson of Australia in 12th. Kate Courtney in 13th position. 14th was Mona Mitterweiler and Nina Graf rounding out the top 15. Meanwhile, the battle continues in that fight for second and third place. And as you can see, Terpstra again opening up a gap on Lil. Lil has been good on the ascents, but I'm sensing maybe she's just starting to blow a little bit because behind we're starting to see that's a blue jersey, and that looks to me like Berta may well have shed Lecomte.
Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating last lap. I think, you know, Candice Lil had that problem. She bounced back to get back on the wheel, but maybe that effort was just too much. And yeah, now we see our leader already dropping into this technical descent before her last ascent of that horrible climb up the piece. So really good to see. Nice clean descent. Nothing special needed from Puck Peters down here, just a nice clean line to carry the speed.
So Puck Peters, 1 hour of racing complete. She's on a 5 lap 5 of 5, 1 lap less than originally intended due to the conditions that are due to come in later today. Don't be deceived by the sunshine. Anyone who's been out in the mountains will know just how tough it can be out here. A little bit further back behind the Terpstra, Lil battle, Lecomte and Berta were together. Berta is now making her way up towards Lil. Then you've got Evie Richards, Laura Stiger, Sevilla Blunt, but right in the middle of this fight, you've got Isabella Holmgren, the under-23 race leader, whose last time check to Olivia Nesty was 42 seconds in the under-23. Holmgren in 1, it's Nesty in 2, Johnson in 3, Corby in 4, McLean Howell in 5, then Ava Holmgren in 6, Van Thiel in 7, Kalori in 8, Boehm in 9, and Spesner in 10th position in the under-23. Now we get the time check starting to come through in the elite at that time split, because that little bit of a gap gives us time to update everybody on the under-23 race. Terpstra in the elite race, though, 105, 115 to Lil.
That's a 10-second gap that she just pulled out on that last climb, and now into this technical descent. That's definitely a charge from Anne Terpstra to make sure that silver medal is hers.
And she can't afford to relax, because coming from behind, Berta is on her way as well. 10 seconds between Berta and Lil. This could come back together again. It's not over till it's over in mountain biking. It's not over till you get up to that finishing line. We've seen issues all the way to the line before now. We've seen races decided in a sprint finish. At the moment, Puck Peters is trying to stay well clear of that, although I wouldn't want to take Puck Peters on in the sprint either. But she's certainly not going to need that unless something drastic happens. Meanwhile, you can see this fantastic shot back here. Terpstra working hard, as you say, just extending and pushing here just to try and make sure she's clear of this battle, and hopes that I would imagine she's hoping that Lil will get tangled up with Berta in that fight for the bronze medal.
Yeah, definitely. Berta's on a massive charge here. I mean, last lap, there's always, you can put that extra effort in, and I think maybe the elite women having 1 lap less today in their race distance, it might mean they've got that extra bit on that last lap to really, really dig deep and go hard. And here we can see, looking back on the climb, Isabella Holmgren, the leader of the under-23 women's, already moving up on Evie Richards, and now on the back of Luana Lecomte, so she's having a fantastic last lap as well.
So the moment you can see Luana Lecomte, the rider that's sitting in 5th place in the elite race, who started on the front row of the grid, in danger of being caught by Isabella Holmgren, the under-23 race leader, who started off, she was a long way down in 43rd position on the grid. That's a long way back, about halfway down through the race field here. But Puck Peters from the gun went hard. She's taken the race to everybody. She's on this steep climb climb back up on the grass, and you can see just feeling the pressure, but she should have something left. Meanwhile, Berta's caught Lil here. This is the fight behind. This is going to be really interesting as they come into this set. Look at the move here being made. Berta's like, here I come, and look at Lil. Those shoulders went, that looked like oh no, I've now got to fight again. Look at the face of Lil as she goes there. That has got to be so hard.
Oh, definitely. That is, Berta is definitely on a move. As we follow Puck Peters now into this last lap, this is going to be her fun section. A nice bit of recovery from that last climb. She's still pushing hard though. She knows that the race isn't over until she crosses the line, so she's still giving it full gas.
Well, lots of riders diving out and around this courses out in the big wide expanses on the mountainside here in Arinsal. We're on the last lap with 1 hour and nearly 5 minutes of racing in at the moment. Puck Peters leading solo. An issue for Lil when she was chasing in contention, dropped her back. We have seen everybody challenge. We've seen Berta challenge. We saw early on Pauline Ferrand-Prévot challenging. We saw big pushes early, and they've not paid off. A lot of people paying for that as they've tried to challenge Puck Peters. The battle behind for the silver and bronze position at the moment being fought out. Would they come through because Terpstra has got a gap 20 seconds from Berta, but Berta is not secure in the bronze medal because bronze is currently to be decided. If they was to stop at the moment, I wouldn't want to bet who would be in front between Berta and Lil. They seem to be exchanging places at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic. We can see Puck Peters last time over that really awkward corner, now into this section above the race course, above the pits, and looking back now, we're going to see Isabella Holmgren, and yeah, second place under 23 rider crossing the line.
So at the moment, as they came through, we've got Holmgren in 1 in the under 23 competition, Olivia Nesti in 2, Johnson in 3, Corby in 4, McLean Howell in 5. All those riders going out onto their 5th lap here today. Meanwhile, Puck Peters out on the track. I suspect when we get into the last lap, Puck is not afraid to show off some of her skills. She may well want to play it safe, though, leave it to the line to celebrate, even though she may know a little bit sooner that she's pretty much got it in the bag. Not so secure for pretty much anybody else out there, though.
And there's Anne Terpstra just heading up onto that section. She's definitely now got herself a nice buffer between the chasers in 3rd, but there's definitely still a lot of racing still to happen. There's a lot of sections that you could still make mistakes on. And Puck looked like she's taking this nice and sensible to not make any mistakes and just make sure she's carrying her speed.
Here comes Terpstra on the climb up towards that descent. 1 minute and 8 seconds, so losing another 3 seconds. Each time check, it's been a few seconds to change. It's not been dramatic as we come in towards these later stages, but behind Terpstra, the gap really has opened up. Lil was in 3rd place at the last time check, but Berta is going to be the rider who comes through that split time in 3rd. Lil is glued to that back wheel. That could come down to a sprint unless Berta's got something special left in the tank. Lil has got the chance to recover potentially.
Yeah, great battle there from Candice Lil to keep fighting to get back on that wheel, and I think she's had such an incredible race, and she's not going to give up at this point.
So our race leader out on her final lap, as are all the riders inside the top 10 as they came in through at the end of lap number 4. Pedersey, Terpstra, Berta, Lil, Lecomte, Richards, Steger, Plunk, Ferrand-Prévot, Maxwell. They are top 10 at the current stage of the race as we're on lap 5 in the elite competition. Holmgren and Nesti, Johnson, Corby, McLean, Howell, then Ava Holmgren rather than Isabella, who's leading behind McLean Howell, then Van Sil, Kalori, Boehm, Spesnet going through. That's the top 10 with Madigan Monroe challenging in 11th position, potentially for the United States of America in that under 23 competition. The lead still secure for Holmgren from Nesti, and that's looking like 55 seconds, a minute separating Nesti from Johnson.
And a great one there. We can see Anne Terpstra coming through that last little rock section, keeping it nice and smooth. She still needs to keep working hard because that battle for bronze is going to keep pushing the pace up.
So race leader in through the pump track for the last time. She's not got all that far to go now. She has a substantial gap. She just pops it up out of that track, dropping. Now, superb technique. When you're coaching people, one of those sort of phrases that's always used, you just want to kiss the ground on that landing. It wants to be super smooth. No, you know, it wants to be smooth is fast.
Yeah, definitely.
That was superb.
Yeah, you always want to try and carry that speed. I always think free speed, anything you can do without too much effort to generate speed is always a winner. And I think Buck will be starting to now realise what she's about to achieve and have a little bit of fun on her bike as well. I hope we see some good skills across the finish line.
Well, certainly won't want to bet against it further back though. Berta now starting to pressure again. It looks like the gap is opening up to a little. What will happen between these two riders as they come into those final sections? So Berta in third, Lil in fourth. I'm just going to watch Berta coming into this section here. Oh, goes sideways, his foot out coming in through there, and it looks to me like she's throwing absolutely everything at it. She can't afford to make mistakes like that because it only takes one where the magnitude, just the consequence is greater and you're in trouble. One rider who should be making no mistakes though, onto the finishing straight. She takes a look over her shoulder. She's got time. She waits to pick up the flag of the Netherlands. It's going to be put over her shoulders here. The race winner, the 2024 Women's Elite Mountain Bike Cross Country Olympic champion is Puk Pieterse of the Netherlands. After the bronze last year, it's a gold medal. What a win, what a rider. Her future's looking bright and it's looking orange at the moment.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, such a talented rider across so many disciplines as well, and this is going to be one extra piece on her Palmares that is she's been wanting. And what a fantastic dominant ride. Time to stop and make sure you've got your flag as well was pretty impressive.
That's pretty good going now. Look at this high fives as she comes in through that feed take zone for the second of the riders from the Netherlands, and Terpstra. She started further back. She worked her way through. She was 15th at the first split on lap 1. She's on her way round to the bridge. She will see that Netherlands flag that was picked up by Puk Pieterse, the race winner in the distance at the end of the straight. The second rider from the Netherlands, the second rider in our World Championship race today, makes her way to the line. They can hardly believe it. It's a silver medal for Anne Terpstra. A 1-2 for the Netherlands here today. What a result.
That is awesome.
So here we go, third place. It's going to have been a kicker that's taken the clear. She can't believe it. It's Italy to take away the bronze medal. Great ride by Martina Berta. Worked so hard from start to finish in this race. The tears start to come. You can see it's a fourth place and disappointment for Lil. But the under-23 champion comes across the line. Isabella Holmgren from Canada has absolutely decimated the elite field. She comes through to take victory in that race. She's your under-23 XCO champion. She comes in just ahead of Luana Lecomte, 5th place in the elite race. So our 5th rider across the line is the under-23 world champion. 2 races in 1. Extra value for money today in our women's elite race. And you can see the elation here from Evie Richards, who comes through the line to take 6th place. Richards in 6th. It should be Laura Stigger who comes through in 7th position. She had a little bit of a gap on the last time check to Sevilla Blanc, who is riding in 8th place. And it is Stigger Laura on her way up here. I had the pleasure of chatting with her dad earlier on this weekend, saying they can pretty much leave her to it. She knows exactly what she wants to do. She's looking for a good result here. And that, for me, is a good result. She's going to come in ahead of Sevilla Blanc, who's going to be inside the top 10, 8th place today. As we see the 2nd place rider making her way up onto the finishing straight in the race. She takes a look behind. It's going to be a 2nd place, a silver medal for Olivia Ernesti. She punches the air in delight. She takes away the 2nd place and the silver medal in the under-23 competition as they come in towards the line. The next rider is going to be Kate Courtney, the former world champion, coming through ahead of Rebecca Henderson. Then we're going to see Sammy Maxwell, but Pauline Ferrand-Bravo is waving to the crowd one last time through the line for the rider who has swept all before. The congratulations from the president of the UCI, David Lepartion, to the woman who came here as defending champion, and every rider from Sammy Maxwell will be congratulating her on her way in and through. So Sammy Maxwell, Mona Wittenwaller, followed by Haley Batten, then Pauline Ferrand-Prévot coming through inside the top 15 ahead of Nina Graf on a good ride. Former medalist Sina Vrij coming through, the woman who took the very first XCC short track medal. The title back 3 years ago, comes in ahead of Gwendolyn Gibson. Gibson, the next rider through from the United States. Now, a real big kick to the line. This is going to be our third place here today. The bronze medal in the under-23 competition is going to go to Canada. They're going to get first with Hongren. They're going to get third with Emily Johnson. A bronze medal for her. What a fantastic set of races. And that is a picture to see. You've got the woman who has won 5 titles on the left. You've got Luan Lecomte shortly to win a league title soon, and Olivia Nesti taking away a medal in the under-23. Alexandra Keller just coming in over the line there, just ahead of Kelsey Urban. Good ride by Urban there in 22nd place, and the riders coming thick and fast. Now, next rider in for the under-23s was Valentina Corbi. We just saw in the blue there of Italy. As these riders now get to take in what they've done, whether that is a medal here today, whether that is the end of an amazing career or the start of a future career. Now, taking a look back, that is going to be a 5th place, I think, for Ella Middleton Howell, confirmed from Great Britain. So the top 5 riders in the under-23 competition. Isabella Holmgren in 1, Olivia Nesti in 2, Emily Johnson in 3, Valentina Corbi in 4, Ella McLean Howell in 5. Amazing emotions here at the finish of the cross-country Olympic race. And these two, they've had so many battles, so many races. Now, well, Pope Petersey is down there. She's going to start her duties as the winner. And Pauline Ferrand-Prévot will know exactly what that's like. She's done it many times before.
Oh, what a fantastic race. So much to celebrate there for, you know, Pauline's had an incredible career and done so much for our sport, kind of handing over to the baton to one of our young up-and-coming stars with Puck Peters. Awesome to see. I think we're going to see a great future from this young lady, both on and off-road, it seems.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, she'd done, I think it was only a second road race, was it? Or the Tour de France Femme taking away an amazing result from that. And on the road, we've seen her in the cyclocross and we're seeing her on the mountain bike. Not sure what she can't do. Maybe we'll have to try one of the other cycling disciplines, maybe indoor cycling. I'm sure she can turn her hand to that. A great day for the Netherlands here as well. I mean, great ride by Touchdown. I mean, what a paced ride. She got there. The only position she didn't take was first after that start where she was down in 15th position. Yeah,
fantastic. I think to always have that, feel like you're moving forward as well. You've always got that psychologically. It's a really great place to be when you're feeling good and you can keep seeing the front of the race getting closer and closer. And another fantastic ride. I think Martina Berta definitely had a battle on, pushed really hard. Sorry for Candice Lilvril, 4th place. She had such a strong ride the entire race and battled so hard to still get on that podium. And yeah, I think that's just the start of a great career for Candice Lil as well.
Yeah, Candice Lil, a great ride, and commiserations almost in 4th place, not quite on the medals, but a great run. She should reflect on that. It's been a really positive thing. You can see what it means to Pope Petersey, what it means to Anna Terpstra here today in Arinsal as the sun at the moment comes down. It's quite deceptive here today. Anyone who's in the mountains know that the weather can change in a moment. Well, that race changed in a moment for so many riders. Pope Petersey, though, from the gun, leading and taking away the win. 1 hour, 9 minutes and 41 seconds. 59 seconds ahead of silver medalist Anne Terpstra, and 1 minute 19 ahead of bronze medalist Martina Berta. As you can see, your top 10 on the screen there. 3 minutes separating them. But the woman who took the race win, well, we can hear from her now.
Fuck. Last year it was a bronze, but today you rode away from the field one by one. You're still only 22 years old, and now you've got the rainbow jersey. It's incredible.
Yeah, I cannot comprehend it yet. I think I rode my own pace from the start, and I thought, yeah, I'll just need to go all in if I want to win this. And I kept pushing, and apparently it was enough. But I don't know, my first Elite World title, and yeah, I'm just so happy.
At the Paris Olympics, you obviously had some bad luck with the puncher. At the short track, you admitted that you were a bit disappointed. Did all those events just give you some extra motivation for today?
Oh yeah, I think so. Especially after short track, I was not happy. I made some mistakes by my focus at the start, and I was not in the race for the win from the get-go. But I think it really woke me up after the short track, and especially yesterday, I just tried to regain my focus and thought about what I really wanted today, and that was to win here.
A 1-2 for Team Netherlands, extra special as well. We saw how emotional you were with Anne at the finish line. It must mean so much.
Yeah, it's crazy how we do a 1-2 here at Worlds. As a mountain bike country, as the Netherlands, it's not a big country for the mountain bike, but I live under sea level, and then here, to perform together with Anne, it makes it extra special. Anne, I think, has something special with Andorra. The last few years she was already great here, and today she shows again how strong she is.
Congratulations, enjoy that rainbow jersey.
Oh, great to see Puppy almost overcome with emotion despite her already extensive palmares and just a little bit of clarification. She's 22. She chose to move up early into the elite category, something that riders can choose to do. She'd shown that she was a great rider. She showed it from the word go here. As she kicked off from the line here, Puppy opening up the gap on the field early, really wanted to take a clear, stay out of trouble of the 110 starters in this combined women's elite and under-23 race. Candice Lill up and challenging with Lecomte, with Terpstra, with Berta. A massive battle behind our race leader, who continued to eke out that race lead. The race wasn't without incident behind Candice Lill having an issue whilst trying to stay with Buck Petersey, losing ground, and that gave the opportunity for Terpstra to come through and past, and Berta then followed that move up on the big climb, coming in and through. Meanwhile, behind, Isabella Holmgren side her way through the race field to make her way in to the finish in the top 5, but there was no stopping Buck Petersey, the winner of the women's elite race here at the World Championships, taking the gold medal ahead of a countrywoman, Anne Terpstra, who takes away the silver medal, and a bronze medal for the rider who won here as a junior in 2015. It was a gold medal and a win for the rider from Canada, Isabel Holmgren, in the under-23, ahead of Olivia Ernesti, the rider taking away silver in the under-23 competition, and Emily Johnson of Canada taking away 3rd place in the under-23 women's race. Absolutely amazing racing. That was a cracking race.
Wow, incredible. I mean, yeah, from start to finish, there was action all the way. Both those elite women and the 23 women, what an exciting future we've got for women's mountain biking.
It's astounding when you think that we've got riders towards the end of the career, and I've got to say thank you very much to Pauline Ferrand-Bravo for keeping us entertained in the mountain bike. She's not finishing riding, just not racing the mountain bike and focusing on racing on the road. And we've got riders at the start of their career. I mean, the ride by our under-23 champion, Isabella Holmgren, and those riders at that level, absolutely brilliant. All the under-23 field there with a very unique experience at the World Championships.
Oh, incredible. It's not something we often see. We've seen before, and whether we probably will in the future, who knows, but hope they take home something from that, because that was an amazing race.
A fantastic race. You can see the top 10 result on your screen. Buck Petersey taking a win ahead of Anne Terpstra from Martina Berta. Pauline Ferrand-Bravo, the defending champion, ended up in a 14th position. A little bit further down the race field, Alexandra Keller, a rider still waiting for that big win. We take a look even further down through the field here as riders who've made their way up from positions further back in the race field got in and through. Only one non-finisher in Caroline Bohe as these riders made their way in and through to the finish. Great riding, some great racing here in our women's elite competition in the World Championships for 2024. Don't forget, you can catch up with lots of action. Do please get onto social media, follow all of the riders, give them your support. a massive thank you to everybody who has been at the side of the boat, has been watching, and of course to our riders for giving us entertainment. Thank you very much to Tracy Mosley here in the commentary box with me, Matt Payne. We're bringing you all of the action here at the 2024 Mountain Bike Championships, including our women's under 23. Great rise there by Isabella Holmgren, Olivia Anesti and Emily Johnson to take away your top three here today. Holmgren, the champion for 2024. We're going to see some great rides from these, and really interesting to see they were well spread through that race field at the start. The time gaps are there, but there's some real experience to be gained in this race.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think these young riders are going to remember this day for a long time, and they've got many, many more years to contest for that rainbow jersey, but what an experience.
And Isabella Holmgren taking away that win. Virtually a minute clear, and a minute clear then from second to third place. But they were cutting the way through the elite field. The future of women's cross-country and mountain bike is looking exceedingly bright. It's looking like we're going to have decades of great riders to come. So please do make sure you join us for all the rest of the action here in Pal Arinsal. But from Tracy Mosley and me, Matt Page, stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Were you expecting as a team for Puck to get this at 22 years old?
Well, we know Puck can always be good, but still this track, these circumstances